evening, everybody, and welcome now to the crowd that is about to witness a match that has been described by many as the grand final dress rehearsal. Canterbury Bankstown top of the table against Manly second placed. Huge crowd in here for the blue and whites versus the maroon and whites. And of course the Doggies, struck with injury problems. McCracken is out, Wilson is out. Darren Smith goes to the centres. Simon Gillies comes to the second row. Young Stephen Hughes plays in the centres as Manly comes out. Jeff Tuvey taking out this very good side, which Peter pointed out has scored 95 points for and nil against in the last fortnight, oozing in class from back to front. And housed in there, young Stephen Menzies and Terry Hill on camera. Jack Elsgood, Rookie of the Year last year. The stage set for what should be one of the really great games of 1994. Kraken and Wilson just heading up the tunnel to watch the game from the players' benches. Greg McCallum is the man in charge. Manly running from right to left. A chance to go to the competition lead here. Off the boot of Ridge then. And a short cropped haircut for Jim Dimmick as he's put down 20 metres out from his own line. Martin Bella, there was a cloud over the big fellow. Playing against his old club, a knee injury apparently nearly kept him out. Darren Britt hits the blind side. First set of 6 for the Bulldogs. They're over on the hillside of the ground in front of a very big crowd out there. This is a little bit of a scuffle up there with the tackle on Jason Smith.
Terry Hill had the swinging arm there and Simon Gillies took offence. Beautiful pass from Dean Pay to Jason Smith in the previous play. There you see it there, lovely ball. There's Terry Hill getting involved in the tackle. See the arm swung there. And that's where the number 41, Simon Gillies, said, that's not happening.
Ironic, of course, that Ian Roberts, as the penalty is given to Canterbury, Ian Roberts was in that first tackle on Jason Smith. It was Roberts who took Jason out of that state of origin encounter. First penalty of the game goes to Canterbury, and Bella decides to take it forward once more. Bella gets up swinging an arm. Oh, Britt taken in a beauty, and now it's on again.
Well, again, it was Ian Roberts coming in high. A lot of tension in this game. Both clubs realise just how important this game is. And Ian Roberts got a high shot there. I'm not going to go overboard until we see a replay.
Well, I couldn't see too much in it. It looked like just a good, hard tackle there by Ian Roberts. Maybe they objected to David Gillespie coming in a bit later.
Plenty of the players having a lot to say out there, both Mark Carroll and Matthew Ridge sounding off. See Darren Britt there. Big hit from Ian Roberts with Gillespie's help. And then again, the Canterbury players came in. Simon Gillies involved. It didn't take long for just about every player on the paddock to become involved.
Roberts called over now.
What did you think, Blocker? It was pretty much straight in front of you.
Yeah, I thought it was a pretty high shot. Up out of the line at 100 miles an hour. Look, you should have seen Marty Bella and Terry Hill having a go at each other. They're having an argument there, and Terry Hill's going, well, come on, make me, Marty.
Here it is again. The forearm is wrapped around the Adam's apple area of Darren Britt. Gillespie in over the top. He didn't seem to do any damage. And the spotlight focuses on Ian Roberts.
Which means this has to be a penalty against Manly. Ian Roberts arguing that no future in that. Just get back into the line, cop the penalty. Marty Bella wants more action taken than the penalty that will come Canterbury's way. Well, it's gone Manly's way. I've got no idea. I'll stay out.
Well, that's incredible, really. Obviously, Greg McCallum has ruled that the original tackle was okay, and he's penalised the Canterbury players for coming in later.
What do you suppose has happened, Steve?
Well, that's exactly it. There was talk before the game that the Smith boys, if you remember back to the State of Origin, there might be a bit of a square-up. This one's going to be on, I'm sure.
So Manly get the penalty rather incredibly. Carroll slams it up. In real time, we've been going about 5 minutes, and I think we've had 60 seconds of football. McCallum working over the top of the play the ball now. And look at them hitting and slamming them to the ground.
Canterbury have got to be careful they don't give away a penalty with this enthusiasm. Getting inside the 10 metres.
Here's one of the targets, Roberts. Bella surging in. Jeff Tuvey cuts through. Tuvey put away, accommodated 10 metres out. The last tackle now. Cliff Lyons, the kick came off a Canterbury player. O'Donnell away for Carroll, now for Ridge. 6 more tackles indicates referee McCallum. Just inside the 20-metre line. Roberts again. Bella goes up the top. Britt underneath. Lyons. Smother him out of it through Simon Gillies. 12 out from the line. That's Gillespie. Canterbury player hurt there. Trying to take him head on as Polomauta.
He's got a bad one up around the throat area. There's some concern about Craig Polomauta. See the mouthguard taken immediately out, turned on his side. Tried to go in high. I don't know what he copped up around the throat area, but he was poleaxed. Some sort of start to this game. David Gillespie, well, there was the elbow was there, straight into the Adams apple.
Very dangerous there. Dave Gillespie has got a habit of leading with that elbow, forearm, and unfortunately it's copped Polomauta right in the Gregory Peck. So McCallum now, all sorts of problems here early in the game. Very fiery encounter.
Well, it might be just as well that it is McCallum who's in charge of it. He got that mouth guard out of the mouth of Craig Polomauta very quickly. And the penalty goes to Canterbury, so McCallum and his officials feel that the cocked forearm of Gillespie has taken Polomauta across the Adams apple. Another angle on it. Halligan finding the line. Ben Gillies, the dummy half. Bella again. Martin already has racked up, I think, 4 hit-ups. Darren Britt. The big men struggling to make yards. Manly dangerously close to being inside the 10. Darren Smith has the ball raked out. Now, which way will he go here? I think he might find that it was raked out by Tuvey to another Manly player.
Yes, it's a Canterbury feed. McCallum saying that it was Manly who knocked on, trying to get the ball away. Touched there by Jeff Tuvey. David O'Donnell lucky not to have come from an offside position. The scrum win. The scrum set 45 metres out from the Seagulls line. All the ball to Canterbury in the opening minutes.
I tend to think Canterbury were lucky or unlucky not to get a penalty. I've seen players penalised for less than that. Jeff Tuvey could have been pinched for raking it out. Simon Gilly, 40 metres out from the line. What a start to the game. No love lost in this one. Ben Gillies taken. Fossey was waiting for him as well. Polomauta's okay. The pass, a little bit how's your father? Dean Payner. Polomauta kicks over the top. Ridge goes back to cover. Took it in the field of play. Cordoned off into the bottom corner of the ground. Canterbury guarding the railway end of the field.
May not be a bad play for Canterbury. We'll point out later on a wider shot how...
Oh, big shoulder on Roberts.
Simon Gillies, he's been very involved. Matthew Ridge plays very close in behind the front defensive line. He is open to the big kick. Have a look at this from
Dean Player got him up, actually, I think, Pete. Might have been the captain came in late with the shoulder. Penalty Manly now. 10 degrees is the official temperature, but I think it might be a good deal hotter than that on the brow of Martin Bella. Carroll tackled on the halfway line. David O'Donnell. Both of these teams, you would think, are short of a place in the top three. So, Paul Vorton, just how important is this game to win?
Well, I believe whoever wins the game tonight will be minor premiers come the end of the round 22. And because both sides have got exactly the same teams to play, and I don't think Manly will lose another game. Break by Roberts.
Roberts gets a pass away. Menzies pulled out of it. I'm not sure why he did that. No score then. 8 minutes gone. A sensational start at Belmore. Right to left on your screen was Ian Roberts. They come away to the right and wide. Dimmick. He's the chief ball player. Now they try to make space on the right of the ground for Halligan. 31 metres out from the Manly line. Dimmick a dummy half. Polamalu's with it. Pushed on for Captain Pay. And then Jason Smith is put down. Polamalu goes to the air. Matthew Ridge up above it. Up above the pack, and his eyes glued to the ball. Terry Hill. Terry Hill was waiting for Bella, and Bella was waiting for Terry. Just missed his shoulder. Mark Carroll. Arms are flying here, left, right and centre. Steve Roach on the sideline. Watch out down there.
Yeah, an enormous effort by Terry Hill. This is the second week in a row he's got out of a sick bed to play in a game of football. Great effort from him.
We're up to the halfway line. Gillespie's in a bit of trouble in back play. O'Donnell for Cunningham. Bounces away from Bella. It's like a game of dodge 'em cards. Hit the wall and bounce off. O'Donnell. Cliffy Lyons. The kick came back off Canterbury. They didn't play at the ball. It's back with Manly. David Gillespie gets a kick in. Menzies tries to scoop it up. And referee McCallum has ordered the turnover.
Well, after 10 years in the rugby league, Dave Gillespie's finally brought his kicking game out. And Cliff Lyons gets the lucky bounce there. It's still fifth tackle on their cement. Great kick.
Oh, it might be another 10 years before we see the next one.
This is a great game, Rabs. This is what rugby league's all about. The best start we've seen to a season, to a game this season. And these are arguably the two best sides in the league, along with North Sydney, of course. And this is good old-fashioned rugby, this.
Darren Britt. Dimmick. Keeping it low, driving it into a vacant corner. Ridge is going back quickly. Halligan's beat him to it. Halligan gets the punch in, puts it down. Sensational try, but then again, that's what this match demands. Sensation after sensation, and Halligan, the game of the super boots, and first blood goes to one of them.
Well, there you see Polamalu kicking through. Freeze play there. There you see Matthew Ridge. He's not far behind the defensive line. Halligan gets a good start. But that's what I was talking about earlier, the fact that Ridge plays very close behind his front line of defence. He's got the turn and chase, and the players from the other side have momentum. That's what Halligan had. He had the speed to get there and did a good job to control the football with the boot.
Well, Halligan's players improved out of sight this year since joining Canterbury. Ridge got a very unlucky bounce in. Maybe he should have dived for the ball, but Halligan, full marks to him. Persistence paid off.
Daryl Halligan is the try scorer, the first of the game. A checkered start for everybody. Halligan scores his 8th try of the year. 85% success rate for Daryl Halligan. Highest scorer last year. He leads Matthew Ridge by 2%. And here's this one from Halligan. Puts the icing on the cake. Canterbury lead Manly 6-0 after 13 minutes. Matthew Ridge restarts as we welcome you back. Dimmick says to Bella, are you ready for another one? They've got Martin wound right up. That's Dean Pay. Steve Roach sidelined.
Yeah, just going back to the Darryl Halligan try. Matthew Ridge had a dead set Bo Peep when he was coming across after that ball. He should have dived on it.
Dimmick now. His well-weighted kick played a part in the try. Bottom out his kick this time. Into the same corner. Ridge a little bit deeper that time. Good defence by Halligan. Also involved was young Stephen Hughes. This is Jack Elsgood talking of youth. And Elsgood almost away.
Great run there from Elsgood. Good chase from the Canterbury players. Noticeable now that Marty Bella starting to slow down a little bit. He's had heavy involvement. I don't think he'll be out there too much longer.
Look at that defence from Canterbury. Cunningham. There's Bella. Now Lyons. Thought about going blindside for Tuvey, but decided to take it himself as the defence umbrellaed. O'Donnell for Carroll. And then for Gillespie. Now for Menzies. Menzies gets it away. Here's Demi Moore. Oh, he lost his winger. Oh, the winger lost him. I'm not sure which way to call it.
And a try went begging. Lovely break by Menzies. Should have been finished off. Elsgood was asleep.
Tuvey now.
Last tackle.
Pushed on for Lyons. This is the last. Across for Terry Hill. Darren Smith gets the pass away. Does Hill. Then Hancock. Back for Hill. Then for Ridge. And Ridge is put down.
6 again signal. Well, that's a big play for Manly. Got the momentum going now as Ian Roberts takes the first one up.
Roberts brought down about 25 metres out from the line. They run a decoy to the blind before hitting Carroll up on the open. Pay the tackler with Britt. They're in the centre of the park, 15 out from the line. Tuvey, Lyons. Lyons floats it. Menzies can't take it. And it'll be a knock-on for a scrum. The match settling down after a torrid start. It was the sort of rugby league we used to see years ago when you basically went to the football and said, well, the softening up period will be worth watching. That's what it reminded me of. Here's a chance for the Doggies. Williams! Williams inside the 20. Runs around them and puts it down. Oh, the Kiwis are having a field day here.
Well, a mistake from Manly there saw it change over in possession. It was a big tackle by Darren Smith, driving the Manly player. As you see the Canterbury players, they're ecstatic. And what a piece of work there at the end for Jason Williams. There's the tackle being made now. The ball slipped away. There's Darren Smith going low, drives the tackle. The ball comes out, picked up by the Canterbury player. Around the corner pass to Jason Williams. Now, Matthew Ridge had a pretty good shot on him, but the change of pace stood him up beautifully. Carroll couldn't come up with anything at the end there. Terry Hill's the man who changes over possession.
And he's still down in back play, Terry Hill. A big tackle. You don't see Matthew Ridge miss many, but Jason Williams, watch this in and away. Sensational stuff by Williams.
Matthew Ridge is having a nightmare of an evening, and now Terry Hill is being escorted back by one of the trainers. He looks as though he might be a bit concussed. As Darryl Halligan prepares to convert the try of Kiwi colleague Jason Williams from the sideline. Can he do it? Can he do it? No, it's just across the face. He did pretty well, Martin, for the time he was out there. Terry Hill seems to be okay as he plays the ball. Tuvey gives them a decoy to the blind. Gillespie looks like he's almost hobbled from a distance, doesn't he, with those big bicycle trousers underneath. Now it's Roberts.
Still got Mark Carroll in the back play receiving attention. He missed that tackle earlier on as Cliff Lyons runs across, tries to pick up Tuvey, does so, but met very well by Dean Pay in the front line.
But Manly on the attack. That's how far from the line they are. And this is Menzies, who's had a couple of opportunities in the game. They were tough opportunities. Now for Lions, and they decide to go to the air, but it's a shocking kick off the boot of the normally accurate Cliff Lyons. And Matthew Ryan shows that that knee problem is okay again. Lyons it is that puts him away.
So Manly kicking game, letting them down tonight. Normally Cliffy would put that into the in-goal area as Mark Carroll. It's a rest into the blood bin.
And there you see plenty of blood around the hand area. That happened when he missed that tackle. The last couple of minutes he's had a problem there.
In the meantime, Matt Dunford goes on in jumper number 40 for Manly as Canterbury work it away from their own line. And Darren Britt is put away by former Western Suburbs teammate David Gillespie. This is Mark Brokenshire, who too was with the Manly club, Paul.
That's right, he had a couple of years here in the late 80s, and he's a good, tough old player, old Barry Brokenshire. Both the Gillies boys are playing good games tonight, and I saw Ben before the game. He asked me to say hello to his mum, who lives on Groot Island, loves the footy.
And a chance here for Manly as they come up with the unexpected ball. Menzies to play it. 33 metres out from the Canterbury line. And this is Dunford. David O'Donnell in the number 9 these days. And here's Cunningham with a surge. Had a lot of urgency about it.
The numbers to the right here, Manly, and Simon Gillies is hurt out there for Canterbury. They're gone that way.
2V for Lions. Lions a short ball. Ridge tries to bust through. Jason Smith brings him down. Help from Simon Gillies. Across for Lions and then on for 2V. 2V is put away. Brokenshire the tackler. On the last. Across for Lions. Tries to turn it back inside. The mistake comes and Pay offloads. Darren Britt to play it just inside the 20-metre line.
Well, Manly continue to push some passes. That one from Cliffy was never really on amongst the traffic. And with this Canterbury defence being so punishing, they're forcing mistakes.
Well, they've learned their lesson, Canterbury. Cliff Lyons has already put one player through a gap as Roberts again goes in with the shoulder charge. But now they're taking the time away from him. And he's forced to make a decision a little bit earlier than he would like, and that's going to lead to mistakes.
Mark Carroll, what's the problem, Steve?
Yes, a compound fracture of one of his fingers, right?
Polamatta clears, the ball bouncing down to the 10-metre line and beyond for Matthew Ridge. Well, Hancock drops back to help, but it's very good defence by Canterbury.
You wouldn't think Mark Carroll would be coming back on if his bones are sticking out of his duke, so that's a big blow for Manly.
And I do think that Matthew Ridge has got to start playing deeper in the fullback role. Every kick tonight he's had to turn around and chase. He's got to be in a situation where he's running towards the football forward to catch the ball on the full.
Roberts commanding plenty of attention. You don't need to be told why. There's Matthew Ridge, the fullback, and as Peter's pointed out, he's got to drop back further and be moving into the football just occasionally. He's been on his heels all night, really, Matthew, and he's paid dearly for it. Lions now booting the ball off his own 30-metre line. It'll bounce down to Canterbury's 30-metre line for Daryl Halligan. The scorer of one try, the kicker of one goal. Is he the maker of the third try? Hughes! Oh, Stephen Hughes gets it away. Beautiful pass. Dimmick gets it down. It's a try. The Doggies get their third. Stephen Hughes, he was magnificent. And so was Daryl Halligan.
He's got the pedigree, doesn't he, Stephen Hughes? Carrying on the tradition here, as the kick from Cliff Lyons was not a good one once again. Daryl Halligan beats Danny Moore here, all ends up. That's where the problem was, that tackle there. Straight away, Halligan is in behind the line, links up with the other Canterbury players who are coming back in the kick chase. Stood up Matthew Ridge once again, looked like he was going to score. Desperation from Stephen Menzies, but great support play by Jimmy Dimmick.
Oh, the Doggies are absolutely woofing into Manly tonight. Halligan's done extra well. Maybe Matthew Ridge has made another little mistake here. He went too far. He was calling Elsgood to take the outside man, and that ball from Hughes, a pearler.
Absolute pearler from the other camera angle. You can see why McCallum asked the in-goal judge for a ruling, but it was put down with downward pressure. Halligan converts. Is he having a game or what? Canterbury 16-0 over Manly. We see blood bin put on Owen Cunningham as the restart of the game is with us. Daniel Gartner goes on for Manly. You're about to see another of their potential stars of the future. He's a very good player, Daniel Gartner, but Manly, Roberts keeps hitting with that shoulder. But Manly are on the end of a 16-0 deficit at the moment. It's not a good time to go into any football game.
Well, there's a penalty. Again, raking the ball out. Matt Dunford doesn't agree.
40 metres out now from the Manly line. Dimmick angling across, trying to put Darren Smith further down the ground. He almost succeeded. Ben Gillies uses Polomouta. And now Dimmick, and this is Halligan. The ball goes back into Elsgood. But McCallum is calling a halt, and he'll put a scrum down.
Just a bit on Daniel Gartner. I think he's every bit as good as Stephen Menzies. He's a fine player. He can step off both feet, got a bit of pace. And just incidentally, his father was a great player for Canterbury Bankstown.
That's right. And this is Danny Moore getting outside the 30-metre line. He's also related to a very good Manly player in Russell Gartner, is he not, Daniel? Cousins, yeah.
Well, we got one of the Canterbury players here going to be called out for a problem in the tackle. It was a bad miss by Darren Smith first up, and there his brother Jason will be penalised for a high tackle. It's Danny Moore coming back inside, and that's the tackle that the referee found to be a problem. So with under 10 minutes to go here, Manly really need to get on the scoreboard.
So here they are, just 8 metres into Canterbury's territory. And David Gillespie working up the centre. 3 Canterbury players involved in the tackle as Gillespie rises to play it. Through to Roberts, and then, as you can see, the power of these hits. And he was on the end of that one from Brokenshire and Jason Smith. I'm referring, of course, to Daniel Gartner. David O'Donnell across through Ridge, a lot of passing, no go forward. Now there is, here's Tuvey, and then he's ridden into the ground by the other number 7. They're inside the 30-metre line. They work the blind side. It comes back in for O'Donnell, then for Tuvey. And everywhere they look, Tuvey and Lyons, there's a ring of Canterbury players around wanting to shut them down. This is the last. Lyons now. Up they come in defence. The ball goes back for Dunford, then O'Donnell now for Menzies. And then it comes down off a Canterbury player. And McCallum is going to give possession to the advantage and to Canterbury.
Touchies are on, both of them. The boys have come to the party.
Well, it's good work by the Bulldog players not to get involved in that. They were in an offside position, but that's not what the touch judges are on for. We're going back about 30 metres upfield.
Well, this must be 4 or 5 tackles ago. And obviously you'd think it would be in Manly's favour if...
Well, that's right. They've allowed the attacking side to go until they lost possession, and then they make the report. So you can bet fairly short odds that it's a Canterbury player that's caused the problem, and this looks like the man we're looking for, Jason Williams.
Let's just have a look on the outside. Terry Hill is taken out there by Jason Williams, but it was a pretty ordinary takeout if that's the incident. Terry Hill appeals to the touch judge. I guess that's what it was.
Well, that's the incident, and they're kidding. Coming in for that.
More importantly than that, though, why would the touch judge from the grandstand side want to get involved in that on the other side of the ground? Well, Jason Williams goes away half-pie laughing. That's the touchy that made the long trek over. So Manly gets the penalty for a triviality. I think Alexander Downer used the same word last night. This is Daniel Gartner now. 9 metres away from the Canterbury line. It's with Tuvey, and then a short pass for Dunford. And he tries to squeeze the pass. Well, they don't want to use their 6 tackles.
Well, Canterbury have knocked on in trying to clean up here, and I'm just wondering whether it will be a Manly feed.
Yeah, I think it will be, Pete, because he ruled it's a good hit here on Matt Dunford. He's flicked it out the back, and there's the knock on there.
No, the pass has gone backwards from Dunford. There's no doubt about that. So Manly have got to get the feed, and they do. 10 metres out from the line. Slowly out the back of the tunnel looking for the penalty. Jason Smith got around that scrum very quickly. It's a wonder he didn't penalise him, but here's Matthew Ridge now on the end of the Canterbury defence from Simon Gillies. He plays the ball so close to the line, aren't they? This is Gillespie. Gillespie, a couple of metres out from the line, struggling to get it away. David Gillespie now. David O'Donnell. Back for Tuvey. And then across for Lyons. And now, Menzies! Menzies for 13 tries! The youngster gets it. Well, this year he has now scored 13 tries. And he broke Jack Perrin's record and Noel Cleale's record on his way to scoring this try.
And he's got Cliff Lyons to thank for many of those. What a lethal combination on the fringe of the ruck. Look how long Cliffy Lyons holds that pass up. Stephen Hughes on the outside stayed with his man. The inside player, I think it was Jim Dimmick, missed the tackle, but it was the quality of the pass that opened the hole.
Yeah, he's one of the best line breakers in the game these days, Steve Menzies. Hits the gap perfectly and sliding over the try. So that's a much-needed try to the Eagles.
It was a much-needed try for young Menzies as well, because little things that have happened to him in this game wouldn't be doing his confidence any good, because now people are expecting so much of him because he has set such a high standard for himself.
Well, I noticed that in the first 15 minutes of the game he was very quiet and he let all the big boys get into the rough stuff and all the heavy stuff, and he's come into his own in the last 20.
Well, that's a magnificent effort. In fact, we took out some statistics on tries scored this year, and they make very interesting reading, particularly for the Manly club. 75% of tries for all clubs this year have been scored by the backs, but in Manly's case, 46% of their tries have been scored by forwards, as Matthew Ridge fails to convert. 16 points to 4 then, Canterbury over Manly. We're close to half-time, and this is another look at the try from a different angle. The ball from Lyons might have had a little question mark on it, and Menzies goes in for try number 13.
It's quite an important miss from Matthew Ridge there. They failed by 12 now. He could have got his side within those 2 converted tries. I think the outstanding thing about that kick was the distance it missed by. Normally when Ridge, he wasn't at that tough an angle, he did miss by a long way.
And Mark Carroll has gone back on.
Oh, how tough is he?
Now, Blocker got a report to say that he had a compound fracture of the finger. Now, compound fracture, from the best of my medical knowledge, is the worst of them all. But he's back on, and Dunford is off. Keep in mind, it would be written down in the statistics as a blood bin. Even though it was a compound fracture, there's plenty of claret around, and McCallum has ordered him to the blood bin. He's come back miraculously. This is Tuvey now on the halfway line. 5 tackles gone. Cliffy Lyons grubbing the ball down the ground, but it won't find the line. It's left for Matthew Ryan to bring it back, which he does competently, but we've grown accustomed to a lot more work from Matthew Ryan because of the fact that he plays in the centres. He's had a magnificent season, and this young man has been playing well as on his outside, Jason Williams. Try scorer here tonight, and it was a beaut try. What's the story of Mark Carroll, Steve?
Yeah, confirmed by the Sheriff, the head trainer for the Manly side, a compound fracture. What they've done is they've sewed it up and put a splint on to keep it straight. So he is a tough bloke.
And I'd imagine they would have given him half a dozen needles too, Block, because that'd be pretty painful.
Yeah, it would be, mate. I'm sure they would have put whatever they put into them needles. I don't know what it is, but it works.
Well, Pollamount has kicked down the ground in the meantime, takes the left-hand turn. Stitched, I suppose, and bandaged, all in about 10 minutes, and he's back into the game. And now the scrum has been won by Canterbury against the head. Pollamount uses Dimmick. Dimmick in turn gets his pass for Matthew Ryan. Hughes is outside him, and Hughes is driven into the ground. Danny Moore makes the tackle. Halligan, a dummy half. Darren Smith runs to the line, promotes Dean Pay. Dean Pay, he gets it away for Darren Britt, and then for Jason Williams, and Williams gets his second. Canterbury get their 4th, and This is becoming embarrassing for Manly.
And that's fantastic play there by Canterbury Bankstown from one side of the field to the other. They're ecstatic.
A relatively simple kick for him. 2 out of 3 tonight, and that one sails sweetly over the bar. The blue and white army, they love this. This is like R&R for them. 22-4. Gillespie gets beyond that point and is met by the Canterbury defence. Bella is back on for Canterbury, and Brokenshire has gone back to the bench. As Terry Hill works on the blind side. Talking of Bella, he gets involved again in that tackle. And now Carroll, who continues into the game against all odds, but he's still there. Tremendous show of courage from Mark Carroll. If you just joined us, he's playing with that compound fracture of the finger. And Owen Cunningham has now been bandaged. A ferocious start to the game. The first 10 minutes was really like the old-time rugby league. And now, ball finding the line about 15 metres away from the Canterbury line. Ben Gillies, Darren Britt, taking the ball off a fairly shallow run. All he wanted to do was get past the ad line. Polomauta turns it back inside for Jason Smith. Both the Smiths wearing headgear tonight. They're of similar stature. As they go to the right now for Polomauta to give to Demick. Demick puts, oh, what a catch! He might have put it down behind him, but it was a beauty from Cliffy. This is Danny Moore now. Cliff Lyons, watch him. Watch him in the slips. He just knocked it down, but backwards, and now Manly come up with a penalty. David O'Donnell. Here's the call from this man, 2V. 2V tries to get through the gap. And he's about 15 metres out from the line. Is there a try coming for the Eagles? Carroll uses a pivot, then Lyons, now Hill. Hill taken in good defence. Hancock couldn't get a hand on it. Well, he may have, but it was a bad pass. It went forward, according to McCallum.
Very poor pass there by Terry Hill. He almost passed it blind there. Taken in the tackle and just flicked it out the back anywhere. It was never going to be taken by Craig Hancock. Pressure ball for him.
Good defence here from Darren Smith. Steve Roach talked earlier tonight about the fact McCracken would be missed there, but what a godsend to be able to move your back rower out and do that kind of job in defence, as Darren Smith has done tonight.
Polomauta plays it now, fed away by Jason Smith for the running Simon Gillies. In 41, Simon. Plays it in the centre of the ground, 20 metres out from his own line. That's the captain showing the way, and he's done a good job in the first 40 minutes. Been an outstanding year for Dean Pay, hasn't it, as they go to the blind side with Ben Gillies. And he's met and wrestled down by David Gillespie. Callum getting Manly back a pretty healthy 10. As, the ball is towed down the ground by Jason Smith, and Craig Hancock out on the wing did well to get back and take it. And then with this run across the ground, he's tackled by the kicker. Else good. 12 metres short of halfway now. 22 points to 4. Half-time score in favour of Canterbury Bankstown. And those of you that maybe joined us a bit late would be rather shocked, I suppose. Great tackle on Cunningham.
Yeah, Jimmy Dimmick, who we were talking earlier, was down hurt. Great shot. Sometimes Cliffy Lyons can do that to you in trying to put you through a hole. They do close very quickly. There he is getting involved again. Finds 2V wide. Short ball to Ridge.
Ridge coming in from behind and then put down 42 metres out from the Canterbury line. Manly barely have broken the Canterbury line. Once lingers in my memory. That's about all. I'm talking about clean breaks. Canterbury really looking machine-like again tonight. I'm trying to remember the match when they were almost perfect. About a month ago, they went off the boil against Norths, and they've been off the boil since.
They were great against Penrith, Ray, as Craig Polomauta throws the dummy. What has impressed me out there, apart from the strength of their forwards and their skillful backs, is that the wingers have been outstanding. Jason Williams has already got 2. Halligan's almost been their best player. And you've got your outside men playing as well as anybody. It's a good sign.
Darren Britt now taken by Terry Hill. He gets a little handoff for Jason Williams, then for Martin Bella. Off a standing start. Like a big steam engine. Getting himself mobile. Dimmick's kick floating down to the 10-metre line. Matthew Ridge starts his run down the ground, but he runs into Darryl Halligan. Elsgood. Hughes the tackler. And now Danny Moore. Cliffy Lyons. Terry Hill, but Manly well and truly outnumbered by the Canterbury defence. Mark Carroll puts his hand up. That's a good run. Plenty of go forward in Carroll's performance. David O'Donnell looks for David Gillespie. A great contributor to the Canterbury Bankstown club was David Gillespie. Stephen Menzies, 13 tries for the year, including tonight's try. Ridge clears. Halligan read it nicely. He fell back. He was waiting for it. And then Halligan has put away 12 metres short of the halfway. Some attention for Ben Gillies. Matthew Ryan tries to catch them napping by taking a blindside run. Bella comes from the ground. Canterbury sending Mark Brokenshire back into the game. 22 points to 4 then in favour of Canterbury. 4 tries to 1. Dimmick now waits it over the top. Hancock saw it coming. And away goes Hancock, chased by Dimmick. Hughes comes up out of the line and makes the tackle on Hancock. It's been a good gain in ground, really, for Canterbury. Elsgood.
This Canterbury defence is so good tonight. It's so tight. And what I like about it is they put the Manly man on the ground. No soft options for them. They don't leave him standing, mucking around. They get him on the deck. It makes it all the harder to get up and play the football.
They are forcing the Seagulls to waste tackles as well, as Gillespie gets a miracle ball to Tooby, who knocks on. Be cleaned up by Ben Gillies.
Polamatta scurries back. Oh!
He fell into it.
Lyons went in high. McCallum said, I saw it. The crowd roared for a penalty. This is Jason Smith now, 33 metres out from the line. Gillespie and Cunningham hold him down to slow down the attack. Pay angles in behind the play the ball. Then driven back. Very strong defence here, ferocious at times. Halligan almost through again. 20 metres out from the line. Tuvi's desperate tackle saved the day. Now Dimmick out wide, looks for Jason Williams. He flies into the air. Darren Smith will score, but he's offside.
Well, he's claiming that in jumping for the football, Williams took some Manly players out. So this has been a big decision. No worries about him being onside there. And he's going into 3 Manly players. Is he going for the football? I thought he was.
Well, that can be the only ruling when you watch it on replay. He has penalised Jason Williams for acting as an obstruction to the defence. Ben Gillies for the blood bet. As Ridge finds the line to restart us, and it's a good restart for Manly. 8 for the penalties mounting. Mark Carroll. About 8 metres short of the halfway line. Well, that ruling on Jason Williams would have suited you, Peter, because it's something that you've been on about all season long.
Well, that's right. Obviously, Canterbury will be disappointed as they come the blindside Manly. He just mistimed his jump there, Jason Williams. He didn't interfere with the Manly players. In number 40 out there for Canterbury is Steve Reardon, who's come on for Ben Gillies. Once again, the depth of this Canterbury club being shown.
Tuvey now working on a wide blindside, turning it back inside for Gillespie, though he had Hill on one side of him and Hancock even wider. He opted to go with the front row forward. Cliffy Lyons' kick is good. Oh! Matthew Ryan, superb.
Well, he knew he had to play at the football, Matthew Ryan, because he saw the referee rule that had been touched. So all the Manly players were onside. See there, Polamatta was stationary. Danny Moore chased well. Matthew Ryan, he flew high.
Canterbury Bankstown, 22 points to 4. This is Simon Gillies. Most people were tipping a Manly victory here tonight, particularly when McCracken and Wilson pulled out. Keep in mind they've got no Terry Lamb, so you could say that two of their best three players are on the sidelines tonight. But we tend to forget that Canterbury did beat Manly in the first round of 1994. I think it was 26-20, was it not? Ridge tackle back near his own line. So again, Canterbury come up with good field position off the kick. That's else good. That's that score there, 26-20 at Brookie. And that was round one, our first telecast match of the year. Danny Moore is Manly. Just hang in there and hope that Canterbury goes off the boil. But I tell you what, they've been boiling for a fair while. Dunford now. He goes back into the game as Mark Carroll succumbs to that hand injury, I would imagine. Pain would be, I imagine, extreme as the painkillers wear off. Darryl Halligan. How often does a winger get the Man of the Match award? Darryl's well up in the count at the moment for the Ansett Award tonight. Make no mistake about that. Steve Roach on the sideline.
Yeah, a bit to prove for Dean Pay tonight. Left out of the Australian side a couple of weeks ago. I think he's been outstanding. I'd love to see how many hit-ups and tackles he's done.
Well, I'll tell you if you like, 23 tackles and 9 hit-ups for Dean Pay. And here's a penalty going to Canterbury Bankstown. Now the roar goes up from the Canterbury fans. They sense there's a chance for another one coming, and talking of one coming, it's another penalty.
No doubt Darryl Halligan will have a shot for goal here, but they were never onside then, Manly. And McCallum let the advantage play on. Tuvey questioning the decision, saying we're in line with you, sir.
Well, see, I object to that too, that Greg McCallum almost waved Jeff Tuvey away before he got there. As captain of the side, he has every right to come across and question the referee. That's one of the responsibilities of a captain, I believe. These see the Manly players rule to be inside the 10, as long as they do it in the proper manner, approach him that way. Finally, McCallum.
I think McCallum was saying the touch judge told him they were offside. They weren't in line with the touch judge in front of him. That's why the penalty was given. But
it's amazing how destiny unfolds for you. Darryl probably would have been playing reserve grade for Norths had he stayed there. And that's almost impossible to believe. He gets the penalty, and Canterbury lead by 24-4. 56 minutes gone. Friday Night League.
On 60 Minutes.
Back at the football. Simon Gillies met by Owen Cunningham and by Jeff Tuvey, the little bloke. Tuvey has made a lot of tackles for Manly, 17 in the game. That's a lot of work for a halfback, because on the other side of the ledger, Polamatta has made 6. And while you're making those tackles, you're taking plenty of petrol out of yourself. Knocked down by Manly. So scrum will go down about 33 metres out from the Manly line. Chris Anderson had to do that with Terry Lamb. He basically said, you're doing too much work. What was happening in the final series last year, the smart clubs were running all their plays at Terry Lamb, and they drained him and left him with little left for the attack. Simon Gillies is tackled just outside the 20-metre line. Ben Gillies bandaged up, gets it away for Matthew Ryan, and then on for Darren Smith. And he's brought down, that's the 10-metre line. Just in front of him, Polamatta wants it, he's with it. Over for Demick, Britt runs the dummy, then from Pay, then to Brokenshire. Back for Demick. Support play good from Jim Demick. Hancock hangs on, and they're still 10 metres from the line. Pay across, throws the dummy, tries to put a forward up the centre. The last tackle is with us. Penalty goes to Canterbury, and it's the sin bin for Cliffy Lyons. The Canterbury fans in front of us, they go up as one. Lyons to the sin bin, and listen to the crowd. look at them. They're still standing. I think Cliffy won a gold medal.
He was getting frustrated, Cliff Lyons. We saw when he made a tackle on Craig Pollamouta. A little bit of a set to a few words with Pollamouta playing the football. He missed the tackle on Simon Gillies. From that play, the ball. And Jeff Tuvey being dragged away by Ian Roberts. The decision's been made. He's not going to change it.
Daryl Halligan then. That's a bit of perspiration from his face. 4 out of 5 from right in front. And he puts it straight over the crossbar, as you might expect. So, after 62 minutes now, it gets bigger. Canterbury 26, Manly 4.
Weeknights from 6:30 on Win Television. It's Australia's favourite team back-to-back. Brian Henderson brings you the leading news service. Ray Martin presents Australia's premier current affair bulletin. Together, they bring you the world like no other team can. The first choice, Brian Henderson and Ray Martin. National 9 News with Brian Henderson and a current affair with Ray Martin on Win Television.
Manly probe in vain for an opening. Tuvey. Now Ridge. Driving defence from Canterbury. Ben Gillies over the top with a great tackle, and now Tuvey's kick. Replacing Ridge, who was involved in the tackle, straight down the throat of Matthew Ryan. He puts his foot down on the pedal. Almost went into touch. Touch judge telling Manly to roll away. Hughes. Just beyond the 40-metre point. On the hillside of the ground. Jason Williams. He's got a strange style. Jason Williams, but my goodness, he's effective. He can stand you up and beat you, make you look like a fool.
Well, he must be playing well, Ray. I guess the forgotten man in the Canterbury camp is, of course, a State of Origin representative in Brett Dallas, who's played reserve grade. Was down there with Craig Pollamouta for quite a few weeks. Pollamouta forced Kevin Moore out of the side. Pretty well served there. Ball behind Stephen Menzies there. Did well to take it and burst through 3 tackles. Strong run.
Menzies has made the conversion from backs to forwards, and he's done it very well. Tuvey's with it. Pushed across for Terry Hill. But he's been unable to make a break tonight, but then again, it's unfair to single him out. See that Carroll and Gillespie are both about to go back into the game. Tuvey. Oh! He's not a big man, but he was driven out of it by Brokenshire, who's hurt himself. Ridge takes the play down the ground and then puts it over the top. Touched in flight. As it comes across from Tuvey and Hill and the run around and then the angle back, and Callum pats himself on the shoulder as if to say, I saw it, don't worry about it. Roberts working it back. O'Donnell back inside for Tuvey, and the little captain, my goodness, he's done some work, Jeff Tuvey. Never say die attitude. And this is against all odds. A high tackle on Ridge from Hughes. And Manly will take, I would imagine, a quick tap. Yeah, Sunday, of course, you'll see the Newcastle Souths game as Cliffy Lyons prepares to come out of the bin. Carroll lumbers up on the blind side. I would imagine Mark Carroll will be hoping for a kangaroo jumper at the end of the year, his second.
Bit of a problem with Jason Smith and Terry Hill in the background. You'll see Jason Smith was still involved with the tackle as Daniel Gartner tries to swivel out of one tackle. Can't do so. And a fair bit of animosity between these two sides out here. A lot of individuals. They had plenty to say to each other.
Gillespie looks for a support player as he is put to the ground. David O'Donnell runs from dummy half. Menzies, a lovely pass, and Tuvey goes in to score Manly's second try. Well, it's just another show of class from this young Manly player. 72 minutes gone. Canterbury 26-8 now.
And this will be much too late for Manly, but just watch this pass. This will be the pass you'd see from a player who's been in the Winfield Cup for 10 years. That just shows how good a player Steve Menzies is and what a great he will be.
Probably the only mistake Daryl Halligan has made was he got caught in no man's land here. I don't think he'd have stopped the try anyway, but he should have come in on Tuvey. That way they would have had to throw the cutout pass, which is a little bit more difficult to throw. I don't think they'll be too disappointed. The Bulldogs, 7 minutes and 20 seconds left to go in this game. It is wrapped up. The little man's copped a hiding tonight, but he's kept coming back for more.
He's been one of the best, and Mark Carroll, I suppose, deserves special mention because he's been on and off a couple of times with that Kulkonga Paringa.
Matthew Ridge then from the sideline. The battle of the super boots had never really eventuated, and Ridge puts it over from the sideline. Magic kicker, 26-10 after 73 minutes.
Sunday at 6:30, two teams in a top 5 tussle. Newcastle on a roll up against the Never Say Die Rabbitohs. The Knights clash with South Sydney at Marathon. 6:30 Sunday on Win Television.
Welcome back to what might well be the last session of play, with Manly in an impossible position, and this imminent victory by Canterbury will bring to an end Manly's quest for 9 wins straight. Interesting to note, in those 8 straight wins for Manly, their only change to the teams in those wins was Ian Roberts out on State of Origin duty. Now, that's where they stood coming into tonight. Canterbury on 24-1 in front of Manly. And, of course, with North Manly shared equal second. But there is a buffer between the top 3 and the 4th place team, which is Canberra.
Well,
coming down into the 5, I'm just going to run through who Manly has to play. They play Illawarra, Wests, Newcastle, Cronulla, South and Canberra. While Canterbury play Cronulla, South, Canberra, Newcastle, Illawarra and Wests. Matthew Ryan running it back from his own line, and it's a long run.
I think this win tonight will ensure that Canterbury gets the minor premiership. Of the teams that have to play, they've got a couple of hard ones here in Canberra and Newcastle, both away. But I think with the 3-point buffer they've got over Manly, and Norths being in much the harder draw, having to play such teams as Brisbane, St George and Penrith yet, I think Canterbury looking good for the minor premiership.
Nice to see Chris Anderson blooding Stephen Price out there from the schoolboy from Harristown in Toowoomba. There's a kick behind here again, puts pressure on Manly with the flying Daryl Halligan coming up on a good tackle. Jack Elstood, been a great battle out there. Halligan has won a points decision. And Chris Anderson knows that depth is going to be continually important. And Stephen Price, a good young forward, taking his taste to the top grade. He's played well, Daryl Halligan, hasn't he? Just not only his goal kicking, but he's been on the spot when needed, showed a good turn of speed and good evasion to beat Danny Moore to set up Jim Dimmick's try. It really has been an enormous buy for this Canterbury club. Maybe the difference between a top 5 spot and a premiership.
5 tackles gone now for Manly. They're 32 metres out from their own line, and they come up with a penalty. The ball raked out by Canterbury Bankstown. Ansett Airlines, of course, they give us the $1,000 for the man of the match on a Friday, and the final of their cup, the Ansett Rugby League Cup, being played tomorrow night at Lang Park in Brisbane between the Brisbane Residents and Western Australia.
Yeah, great airline, one of the best in the world, Ansett.
Well, one of the world's great airlines, Paul, you're quite right. But they have supported league this year like they never have before, and that final tomorrow night should be worth going a long way to see.
I think they're a great airline as well.
Will that get us all in first class next time we fly?
I hope so.
35 metres out from the Canterbury line, David O'Donnell makes a scampering run to the 20-metre line. And it's Jeff Tuvey pumping it away to the blind side for Lions, inside for Menzies. Then it's come back for Canterbury. I was just wondering off whom it came. This is Matthew Ryan now.
Pete, what do you make of the Manly effort tonight? They've won 8 in a row. They've just been playing some sensational football. Simply outplayed, out-toughed maybe by Canterbury.
Well, I thought they were their own worst enemy in the first half, handing over possession, and Canterbury, to their credit, were able to turn those mistakes by the opposition into points. And they got away to a big lead, so all of a sudden Manly were in a position where they had to try a few things. I just think Canterbury did a great job on closing down their danger players. Fifth line's no room out there. Ian Roberts didn't get an offload. As I said, Jack Elsgood didn't beat a man. Terry Hill's been closely marked. So they've done their homework, the Bulldogs. And it's been an emphatic win for them, and a confidence-boosting one as well. Psychologically, this is a big win tonight.
Dimmick's kick kept low and finding the line. Time-consuming. Now, Jeff Tuvi's coming off. Manly fans needn't worry too much. He cramped up badly, Jeff Tuvey, and the Sheriff got out there and got him walking.
And in 17, John Hapawati comes out with the good young players in the lower grades from Manly. Big things are expected of him, Paul. I know Bob Fulton's got a bit of a rap on.
Super player, John Hapawati. He scored a brilliant try tonight in reserve grade, a 50-metre job ball on his pat, and he's a shandy off being a regular first grader here, or making a mark in first grade.
Menzies now, 35 out from his own line. Crowd, and it's been a very big crowd. They're looking for the exit gates to try and get a little bit of a start on their teammates. 20,333. Probably not as big a crowd as we may have expected. I'm wondering whether the fact that Canterbury has put a ceiling on the amount of people that they will allow into the ground might have had a deterrent effect on some people making the decision to come to the footy. Very wisely, Canterbury said we won't allow any more than, I think it's about 25 into the ground, for safety reasons and for comfort. I'm just wondering whether that's worked against Canterbury. 20,000 this match has attracted tonight. Young Hughes. And towed ahead now for Williams to watch it just get over the sideline in front of him. The crowd count out the time. The scrum is not required. And a comprehensive victory. One of the best of the year for Canterbury. Probably one of the best wins by any club all year. This Manly team, let's not forget, had scored 95 points to nil in 160 minutes of football in the last fortnight. So they were entitled to start favourites. They were supposed to give 5.5 start in footy tap. And Canterbury, with no McCracken, no Terry Lamb, no Scott Wilson, have won 26 points to 10. So that is comprehensive.